Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Whoops. Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. When is it? 8:30. That's not bad. Wait. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay. Hey, Haribol. Yeah, the biker dude. Hare Krishna. Not a student of Jai. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I was going to take a break, and I did, from social media. And because, Hare Krishna, it was just making my head spin, spending too much time on the airwaves. And my head was just spinning. So, hey, Hare Krishna Janaki. So it was just too much. It was like static, I was just getting spaced out everywhere, hearing all these voices from everywhere, and all over. As they say, information overload on the internet, right? So I took a little break, backed off completely, and I had no intention of going back on. If it was years, fine. I don't care, because I had to have some realization on what was going on with these energies. And this morning, and I increased my chanting and hearing, but this morning there was so much going on, so much clarity coming, that I had to jump back in. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It's what I was experiencing, I'll be honest with you, is like Krishna's universal form. A form that Arjuna saw and it petrified him. It was a terrible form. There were hundreds of thousands of uncountable faces and eyes and teeth and ears and noses and bodies, and there were all kinds of every possible imaginable creature, from demigods down to the lowest. And it was a horrifying form, absolutely horrifying. And I saw that, holy moly, this internet, it's kind of like the universal form. When you tune in on this, there's hundreds of thousands of uncountable voices, all talking about all different kinds of things. It's a whole range of... It's like a manifestation of Krishna's universal form. At least that's what I was experiencing this morning. And it was horrifying. I was looking at this internet, and it was like the hair was standing on the back of my neck, and I was like, oh my God, it's horrifying. And Arjuna, what he did was, he wanted to see the form. He asked Krishna if he could see the form. Whoops. And when Krishna manifested it, it was horrifying. And then he said, Krishna, take it away. I don't want to see this form. I don't want to see this form. I want to see you, my friend. And then Krishna manifested his Vishnu form, 4 arms, which is the Paramatma form. And then gradually Arjuna could relate to the Supreme Being as his friend, standing in front of him, accessible through pure devotion. So, I mean, this has been like, for days now, this universal form, I'm like, just absolutely horrible. So, this morning I was getting some relief from it, and I was actually crying, you know, Krishna, take this away. I don't want to see this. Take it away. I don't want to know you in this way. This horrible form. It's, you know, the pictures you see in the Gita, it's ghastly. It's a ghastly form. Let me see, read those verses if I can find them about the universal form. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Actually, Arjuna offers very beautiful prayers to Krishna in his distressed condition, and I could see it wasn't just like a passive experience. It was intensely emotional experience for Arjuna. Intensely emotional. 550 in the Gita. All right, it's in that chapter. Right, let me see what we got here. Page 550. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama. I guess it's in, what chapter is it here? Yeah, chapter in the universal form. Da. Hare Krishna. It's a whole chapter on it, okay? It's right after the opulences of the Absolute. Krishna reveals of the letter A, I am of letters, I'm the letter A, of fish, I'm the shark, of I'm the intelligence of, anyway, when he lists all his opulences, we can recognize him by his opulences. And then, I want to read the chapter, okay? I'm just going to read the chapter on the universal form. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Arjuna said, I have heard your instructions. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, all the devotees. Thank you, Gauri, and the lunatics that are totally enlivened by his madness in devotional service. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. There's a method to his madness. Oh yeah, there was something else. Before I read this, there was something else that came that I wanted to share. And Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. A couple things from biblical culture that. I had to go get a permit for something or other yesterday, and I went downtown, and there were Gainesville, and there were some people there with petitions because they want to legalize marijuana. And I couldn't sign it. I don't sign those things usually anyway. I haven't even voted since Nixon. I was 18, my father convinced me to vote for Nixon, and I've never voted again. So I'm not even a registered voter. So I couldn't sign their petition. But I said, well, you know, it'll get legalized. The whole world's going legal on marijuana. So they say, thank you for your good wishes. And I said, but they're going to have a problem. What are they going to do with all these empty spaces in the prisons now? And then I thought afterwards, so many people, you know, their lives were ruined because they were taking this drug, which now is going to be completely legal. It'll be regulated, but it'll be legal. But their lives were ruined. They have prison records. They can't get a loan from a bank. They can't get a job. They can't buy a house because they have a prison record because they enjoyed taking this drug. And I thought, well, what were they imprisoned for? They weren't imprisoned actually for taking the drug because now it's legal. The reason they were imprisoned was they broke the law. And the law at the time was this drug is illegal. So they weren't really imprisoned for taking marijuana. They were imprisoned for breaking the law, which meant they didn't recognize the authority of the state. That's why they were punished, because the law is different now. It's not illegal. So it was the principle of breaking the law that they were punished for. And that meant they weren't recognizing the authority of the state. The state said no. Right now we have to say no. They didn't recognize the authority, so they were imprisoned. And then he was thinking about Adam and Eve and the parable of the garden and how there was a punishment. For what? Not for eating the apple. That wasn't why they were punished. They were punished because there was only one rule or law that the Lord set, is you can have everything, but recognize my authority by observing this law. I'm giving you a rule. I'm giving you one rule. That's it. You've just got one rule. And if you do this, then you will be recognizing my authority by following this one rule. Because obviously, they hadn't developed a loving relationship with the Lord. So, at least to recognize his authority and observe some authority, he gave to try and develop this relationship, with children with parents. You know, they set down rules. You know, don't put your finger in the electrical outlet. That's a rule in this house. You don't put your fingers in the electrical outlet. You don't play with matches or sharp knives, and you don't open the door to strangers. Those are rules in our house. Okay. Because the intelligence isn't so sharp, and those things are detrimental. So they set down some rules, and later, by recognizing and accepting the authority that it's the well-wisher, the parents are the well-wisher, then the love can grow. Okay. So eating the apple, it wasn't because they ate the apple. It was because they didn't recognize that it came from an authority. The authority. They didn't recognize the authority. And that happens when the loving relationship isn't developed. Then you have to have some rule. You have to accept the authority. Hare Krishna. So I was thinking about that. It wasn't because they ate the apple. It wasn't because the people smoked marijuana that they were punished. It was because they broke a rule or a law that was a kind of prerequisite for something much higher. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. It was interesting thinking like that this morning. Hare Krishna, about universal form. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. Frightening. Absolutely horrifying and frightening. I mean, I was crying. Take this away. I don't want to see it. Take it away. I don't want it. Make it go away. Krishna, make this go. And it was still there. Hare Krishna. So what was Arjuna's experience here? He says, I have heard your instruction on confidential spiritual matters, which you have so kindly delivered unto me, and my illusion is now dispelled. O Lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, as realized through your inexhaustible glories. O greatest of all personalities, O Supreme, although I see here before me your actual form, I yet wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. This universal form is not, it's a form manifest in the material energy. Everything's in there. Death, fear, all these things that are connected to the illusory energy are in that form. So Arjuna says he wants to see it. Thank you, Arjuna. If you think I am able to behold your cosmic form, how you've entered into this material situation, O Lord, O Master of all mystic power, and kindly show me that universal self. Blessed Lord said, my dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, behold now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of varied divine forms, multicolored like the sea. So that doesn't sound too bad, right? Wow, it's kind of like looking into a kaleidoscope or something. Wow, multicolored, all these forms, divine forms, multicolored, like the sea. Okay, we're okay so far, right? O best of the Bharatas, see here different manifestations of Adityas, Rudras, and all the demigods. Behold the many things which no one has ever seen or heard before. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Whatever you wish to see can be seen here, all at once, in this body. All at once. All at once. Krishna. This universal form can show you all that you now desire, as well as whatever you may desire in the future. Everything is here, completely. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Oh my God. Prabhupada's purport says, no one can see the entire universe sitting in one place. Even the most advanced scientist cannot see what is going on in other parts of the universe. Krishna gives Arjuna the power to see anything he wants to see, past, present, and future. Thus, by the mercy of Krishna, Arjuna is able to see everything. Actually, my experience this morning, I don't say that it's exactly this, but it made me aware of this universal form. I don't say that I could see everything past, present, and future in all parts of the universe, but it was enough of an experience to appreciate Hare Krishna. I actually started to pray. I said, I'd rather be in the Brahma Jyoti. Let me go to the impersonal thing. Get me away from this. And let me just hang out in the Brahma Jyoti. Do anything to get away from this. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Oh God. So, and Krishna continues, but you cannot see me in that form with your present eyes. Therefore I give you divine eyes by which you can behold my mystic opulence. Oh, Krishna. Now, what's really amazing here, and why I don't think it's such an unusual or, outlandish comparison to make to what we're experiencing with this internet, which is a gross material science. Because here, the next verse, Sanjaya said. Now, Sanjaya had tuned in. He had like a television in his heart. He was viewing all of this, like remote viewing, this conversation. Like he had tuned in, it was like a little computer, and he tuned in on this channel, okay, on the internet, okay, where Krishna is having this conversation with Arjuna and revealing these things. And Sanjaya, in a subtle science, a mystic science, rather than like our internet is a gross science, okay, it's gross, it runs on electric, it runs on positive and negative, it runs on binary coding, it's a gross material science. But it correlates with, on a higher plane, these subtle sciences, which are really not so much available to us right now. But we have these gross sciences, and they correlate. Hare Krishna, on a more gross level, gross energies. So Sanjaya had this ability on a subtle level. He had this ability to remote viewing. And he was relaying what he was seeing. So Sanjaya said, O king, he's talking to Dhritarashtra, who's completely blind, in more ways than one, speaking thus, the Lord of all mystic power, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ah! Krishna! Krishna! Hare Krishna! Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Ah! Okay, so now the overwhelming part starts in, because Arjuna is seeing and experiencing this form of Krishna. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes. It was all wondrous. The form was decorated with divine, dazzling ornaments and arrayed in many garbs. He was garlanded gloriously, and there were many scents smeared over his body. All was magnificent, all expanding, unlimited. This was seen by Arjuna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna! If hundreds and thousands of suns rose up at once into the sky, they might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I mean, if we can experience what we're experiencing with this internet experience, okay? I mean, there's hundreds and thousands of voices out there, and hundreds of thousands of eyes, ears, and O's. Everybody's doing selfies, everybody's doing self-videos, everybody's got something to say about something. With clothes on, without clothes on, angry about something, happy about something. It's all happening simultaneously. We've got this going on. Why is it so difficult? Or why would it be so difficult to be able to relate to what Arjuna is experiencing with these hundreds of thousands of forms all going on at once, Krishna's forms? Why would it be so? It's totally understandable to make that correlation, that jump. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, at that time Arjuna could see the universal form of the Lord, the unlimited expansions of the universe, situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Yeah, the reason he could see that was because he was right there with Krishna, the origin of it all. So when Krishna looks out at the universal form, he can see it all at once, because Arjuna was right there with Krishna, sitting there right with him. Krishna said, all right, you can see what I see. You can see what I see. Because Arjuna was there with Krishna, so he could look out and see. More or less through Krishna's eyes. Krishna being the source of it all. That's why he could see. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. And in the previous verse, Prabhupada explains that Sanjaya couldn't actually see that in the same way that Arjuna was seeing it. He could see that Arjuna was seeing that, and he could hear the descriptions. But he couldn't see the same thing Arjuna was seeing, because he wasn't right there with Krishna. He was remote viewing. Prabhupada explains that in the verse. He says, what Arjuna saw was indescribable, because he's sitting right there with Krishna. He's seeing the same thing Krishna's seeing. Yet Sanjaya is trying to give a mental picture of that great revelation to Dhritarashtra. He's trying to relate as far as he can understand, which is more or less as an external observer. He's giving that picture to Dhritarashtra. He's not experiencing the same thing Arjuna is experiencing, but he's seeing what Arjuna is, and he's trying to relate what he's seeing. Neither Sanjaya nor Dhritarashtra were present, meaning neither of them were right there with Krishna. They were viewing remotely. But Sanjaya, by the grace of Vyasadeva, could see whatever happened. Thus, he now compares the situation, as far as it can be understood, to an imaginable phenomena, that is, thousands of suns. So what we're hearing here is Sanjaya's account of what Arjuna is experiencing. And although it's completely indescribable, Sanjaya does the best he can by saying the brilliance was like thousands of suns. It's the best he could do with it, to try to find words. So what we're hearing is Sanjaya, what Sanjaya is seeing. We are in the position of Dhritarashtra. Until we get the mercy of Krishna. Then we can be in the position of Arjuna. Until then, we're in the position of Dhritarashtra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna began to pray with folded hands. You bet. Offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord. I mean, he's sitting right there with Krishna. Krishna's his friend. And Krishna says, okay, here, I'll let you see what I see. Here you go. Ah, Krishna! He's offering obeisances. He starts up folding hands. He's offering obeisances. That his friend, oh my God, has this, Krishna. Arjuna said, he's offering obeisances to his friend. He's seeing all of this. And this is Arjuna Arjaya explaining, my dear Lord Krishna, Arjuna said, I see assembled together in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and many sages and divine serpents. Oh, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. O Lord of the universe, I see in your universal body many, many forms, bellies, mouths, eyes, expanded without limit. There's no end. There's no beginning. And there's no middle to all of this. Oh, Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Your form, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs, is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence, which is fiery and immeasurable like the sun. This is the cosmic form of Krishna within the material energy. Krishna, what an amazing scripture, huh? Whoa. Krishna. So Sanjaya continues. This is what Arjuna is saying, hearing him say, you are the supreme primal objective. You are the best of all the universes. You are inexhaustible, and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of religion, the eternal personality of Godhead. You are the origin without beginning, middle, or end. You have numberless arms, and the sun and moon are among your great unlimited eyes. By your own radiance, you are heating the entire universe. It's funny, in the previous chapter, when Krishna was displaying to Arjuna his opulences. You know, that he's the strength of the strong, he's sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles. He's fishes, he's the shark, and on, all his different, and the beginning, the middle, and all his opulences. At the end he says, but what use for all of this is there? With but a spark of my splendor I pervade the entire creation. What do you need to know all this for? It's just a spark of my splendor. And now in the very next chapter, he's revealing this form of his form. And Krishna. So it'll come, all this phantasmagoria, it'll come to that point again, where Krishna says, but what need is all of that? What need is there for you to know all of that? Here I am, your friend. It always comes down to that. No matter how fantastic everything is, in Krishna's powers and abilities, he's the greatest, he can do this, doing everything, he's the beginning, the end, and then it just comes down to, yeah, but what do you need to know all of that for? I'm your friend. I just want a relationship with you. You don't need to know all of that. It's, you know, it's there. Here, I'll show you. Look. Hare Krishna. But let's not let that get in the way. Okay? Let's not all that get in the way. Oh, Krishna. All right. So, of course, you have to remember, Arjuna is getting ready to do something really. I mean, he's getting ready to kill everybody in this battle. So to have a little bit of this behind him, you know, that Krishna, his friend, isn't just some mundane personality, okay? And Krishna's guiding him through the battlefield. Have a little bit of this behind him. My friend's not mundane, okay? It's not some mundane personality. If he says something, you can take it to the bank, right? Krishna. So Sanjaya continues telling Dhritarashtra what Arjuna is saying, and Arjuna continues. Although you are one, you are spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O Great One, as I behold this terrible form, I see that all the planetary systems are perplexed. All the demigods are surrendering and entering into you. They're very much afraid. With folded hands, they're singing the Vedic hymns. The different manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadyas, the Vishvadevs, the two Asvins, the Maruts, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, Asuras, are all perfected, and all perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. Almighty Armed One, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your many faces, eyes, arms, bellies, and legs, and your terrible teeth. As they are disturbed, so am I. Oh, all-pervading Vishnu, I can no longer maintain my equilibrium. Seeing your radiant colors fill the skies and beholding your eyes and mouths, I'm afraid. He's getting this horrible fear. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance seeing this. Your blazing, death-like faces and awful teeth in all directions, I'm bewildered. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, and Karna, and all our soldiers, are rushing into your mouths, their heads smashed by your fearful teeth. I see that some are being crushed between your teeth as well. And getting ready for this battle. As the rivers flow into the sea, so all these great warriors enter into your blazing mouths and perish. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. I see all people rushing with full speed into your mouths as moths dash into a blazing fire. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Oh Vishnu, I see you devouring all people in your flaming mouths and covering the universe with your immeasurable rays, scorching the worlds. You are manifest. Hare Krishna. Not a very approachable form. I mean, certainly, if everyone's rushing into his mouth and he's devouring them, they are approaching him, but that's what happens when you approach this form. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. As they approach me, I reward them accordingly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Is there another form we can approach? Please? Hare Krishna. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah, because this form is a form, it's actually an illusory form, because it's manifest through the illusory energy. So to approach this form means it's an all-devouring form. It's approaching Krishna through the illusory energy. So it's actually an illusory form. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hope we get some relief from this soon. Oh, Krishna. Oh Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. I do not know what your mission is, and I desire to hear of it. So Arjuna, it looks like he's become bewildered by the form, and he's forgetting that it's Krishna right next to him, revealing this aspect. But that Krishna is still his friend. He's sitting right there with him. But it looks like he's become bewildered and overpowered by this form of Krishna. And he doesn't have access to his intimate, loving relationship with the Lord. The Blessed Lord said, so evidently, although Sanjaya is remote viewing, he can hear both Krishna and Arjuna. So he can hear Krishna saying to Arjuna, "Time I am, destroyer of the worlds, and I have come to engage all people." It's kind of like a biblical God, you know. I am the great I am. Old Testament. I am the great I am. Time I am, destroyer of the world. And I have come to engage all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. Yeah, it kind of sounds like an Old Testament version of the Lord. Because he was always doing that, you know. He was saying, I've come to do this, but you're going to be saved. You know, the chosen people, and just follow this and do that, and you'll multiply and be fruitful, and you'll have this land to live in. And it just kind of sounds like a biblical manifestation, like universal kind of form. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Therefore, get up and prepare to fight. After conquering your enemies, you will enjoy a flourishing kingdom. This is like right out of the Old Testament. That's always going. You will have a kingdom, and you will have fight, and it's interesting. Hare Krishna, Hare. Of course, there's a lot more going on here, but in relationship to this universal form. Interesting. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, Savyasachin, can but be an instrument in the fight. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. At one time, some devotees, disciples asked Prabhupada, they said, where did the Jews come from? It's the Old Testament. And Prabhupada, he laughed. I don't know, sometimes he joked, but then again, maybe it's not a joke. He said, they came from Arjuna. And, you know, there's some documentation that after the Battle of Kurukshetra, those that survived, they weren't the kings and the leaders and the scholars and everything. They were the guys that fed the horses and, you know, washed the dishes and stuff. They managed to flee to, like, I think Eastern Europe. And they took with them what they understood of the Vedic culture. So, where did the Jews come from? Arjuna. Hare Krishna. Certainly does sound like the biblical voice from the Old Testament. The Blessed Lord said, all the great warriors, Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, are already destroyed. Simply fight, and you will vanquish your enemies. The voice from the bush, you know, the tablets on the mountain. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. It's interesting, in, I think it's Greek plays, when a situation would become unworkable, they had a literary device that they would use. It's called, I don't know how to say it exactly, maybe it's in the Latin, Deus Machina, Deus Machina or something. In other words, God in the machine. It was an unusual or unresolvable situation, so the playwright, they'd introduce the God in the machine, and he would come from another dimension and solve the problem. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Okay, so now Sanjaya, after hearing this, and Sanjaya just heard all of this, that everyone's going to be destroyed, his sons, the whole thing, by Krishna's, with this, in this, it's not just Krishna sitting there, the cowherd boy, it's the universal form, Krishna, the cosmic manifestation, Krishna. So now Sanjaya, who's just related this conversation to Dhritarashtra, says, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna trembled, fearfully, offered obeisances with folded hands, and began faltering to speak as follows. Hare Krishna. Okay, so it looks like Arjuna is becoming more conscious now of Krishna there as his friend, but he's still experiencing this manifestation of Krishna, which is frightening, really. But he says, Arjuna, he addresses him as Rishikesh. Okay, so he's recognizing the Lord within himself, and within the body, Rishikesh, controller of the senses, master of the senses. Okay, so he's still experiencing this cosmic manifestation, this frightening thing, but now he's relating to Arjuna within himself, to Krishna within himself, and he's addressing him as Rishikesh. I think, isn't that Rishikesh, control of the senses? I believe so. Oh, Rishikesh, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. Yeah, after hearing from Krishna in this cosmic way about the outcome of the battle, Arjuna became enlightened. He admitted that everything done, this Prabhupada, everything done by Krishna is quite fit, quite perfect. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah. Okay. Arjuna continues, O Great One, who stands above even Brahma, you are the original master. Why should they not offer their homage up to you? O Limitless One, O refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. Okay, so he's not like absorbed in that form now. He's feeling Rishikesh within the heart, and he's enlightened now that about his friend Krishna. You are the original personality, the Godhead. You are the only sanctuary of the manifested cosmic world. You know everything. You are all that is knowable. You are above the material modes. O limitless form, the whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. Okay, so now he's able to make this differentiation between the personality of Godhead Krishna and his cosmic manifestation. So it's probably not so scary now. He's taking shelter of Krishna. And he's glorifying. He says, you are air, fire, water, and you are the moon. You are the supreme controller and the grandfather. Thus I offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again, and yet again. Obeisances from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, and thus you are everything. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. It's kind of like this undifferentiated spiritual power kind of thing. It's like, of course, it's not just eternality, there's also some knowledge aspect in there. It's knowledge. We're getting to the Ananda and the Vigraha, but we're coming up through. Okay. I have in the past addressed you as, oh Krishna, oh Yadava, oh my friend, without knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I have done in madness or in love. I've dishonored you many times while relaxing or while lying on the same bed or eating together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. Please excuse me for all my offenses. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Krishna. Arjuna did not know how many times he may have dishonored him by addressing him as, O friend, O Krishna, O Yadava, without acknowledging his opulence. But Krishna is so kind and merciful and playful, I added that in spite of such opulence, he played with Arjuna as a friend. Such is the transcendental, loving reciprocation between the devotee and the Lord. Relationship between the living entity and Krishna is fixed eternally. It cannot be forgotten. As we can see from the behavior of Arjuna. Although Arjuna had seen the opulence in the universal form, he could not forget his friendly relationship with Krishna. Thank God. Hare Krishna. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh, this is kind of a long chapter, but keep going a little while longer. Arjuna continues with his prayers. You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation, the worshipful chief, the spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be one with you. Within the three worlds, you are immeasurable. You're the Supreme Lord, to be worshipped by every living being. Thus, I fall down to offer you my respects and ask your mercy. Please tolerate the wrongs that I may have done to you, and bear with me as a father with a son, or a friend with his friend, or as a lover with his beloved. Hare Krishna. I had great parents, I mean, I don't know how they got me, poor people. They got this kind of weird person as their daughter, but they were really good parents. I mean, and they were very devoted to each other. They stayed together their whole life, through thick and thin, through hell and high water, through everything, and right up to the end when they left. And they were in their 90s when they left. And my father had a coffee cup that he used to keep on top of the refrigerator, and it was made that way specifically. It was kind of a deformed coffee cup, all crumbled, and it like somebody had made a mistake when they tried to put it in the kiln. It was a clay cup. And written on it was, "I love you in spite of all your imperfections. In spite of all your imperfections, I love you." Hare Krishna. So Arjuna is saying, please tolerate the wrongs that I have done. Bear with me as a father with a son, or a friend with his lover, with his friend, or as a lover with his beloved. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. After seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I'm gladdened. But at the same time, my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. Yeah, take this thing away. Please. Krishna. I acknowledge it. And it's like, I get the point, I mean, I get it. Please, take it away. I want to go back to our friendly relationship. And, I'll try to watch my P's and Q's a little better. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'll try. O universal Lord, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmet head, with club, wheel, conch, and lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form. So Arjuna is getting everything here. He's getting to see all these different forms. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Yeah, it was like he couldn't go right back immediately to his intimate relationship with Krishna, like his friendship relationship. He's coming back out of this experience, first taking shelter of the Vishnu form, which is the Paramatma. Like Paramatma within the heart also is a Vishnu form. Until Krishna within the heart is awakened, but that he's taking shelter of that form first. He's like going that way. I wish to see your Vishnu form. The Blessed Lord said, my dear Arjuna, he's sitting there as his friend. He says, happily do I show you this universal form within the material world by my internal potency. Hare Krishna. No one before you has ever seen this unlimited and glaringly effulgent form. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine. For neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charities or similar activities can this form be seen. Only you have seen this. Well, we can hear about it, right? Like Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra, they're hearing about it, but only by the internal potency. That's what he says here. I have revealed it to you by my internal potency, which means out of devotion, out of love and devotion. Because you are my friend, I can reveal this to you. Because we have a loving relationship, a friendship, in friendship, I can reveal this to you. It's just like everything else. Anything that's revealed is going to be revealed when there's a loving relationship with the Lord. Otherwise, we can read about it and hear about it and think it's really far out and everything, but we're Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra. That's what we are. Sanjaya has that ability through Vyasadeva, the compiler of the Vedas, to view these things and see them and relate them. He doesn't experience them, but he can view them and see them and relate them. And it was said by mental ability, okay, which is a little tricky because there can be some speculation if you're not careful. Until there is this loving relationship with the Lord, these things are not revealed. Because they're revealed, he says here, by my internal potency. Universal form, Vishnu form, Vrindavan, Krishna, Dwarka form, Hare Krishna, it's all revealed by the internal potency. Krishna! Krishna. Studying the Vedas, this is Sanjaya hearing Krishna say this, okay? And he's relating this to Dhritarashtra. No one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing austerities, nor by charities or similar activities, can this form be seen. Only you have seen this. And then Krishna continues, your mind has been perturbed upon seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now, let it be finished. My devotee, be free from all disturbance. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, while speaking thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form. And at last he showed him his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna. Yeah, and the purport Prabhupada said, a devotee wants to offer his respectful worshipping feelings. The only feelings from the universal form is fear and maybe some awe at the majesty of it and the power of it. But here Prabhupada says a devotee wants to offer his feelings, his loving feelings, and worship with his feelings. Thus he wants to see the two-handed or four-handed Krishna form, so he can reciprocate in loving service with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, he encouraged the fearful Arjuna. Okay. When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, my mind is now pacified, and I am restored to my original nature. The Blessed Lord said, my dear Arjuna, the form which you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form which is so dear. The form which you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood, here we go again, simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. Evidently, it's not by those means that can anyone see anything of Krishna. They can't see the cosmic form, they can't see the Vishnu form, and they can't see the eternal original form by those means. They're all, those visions come from the internal potency. Even the universal form can't be seen, because the way Arjuna was able to see it was he was in that bond within the eternal. He was within the eternal potency of the Lord by his loving relationship with him, and Krishna gave him the eyes to see. Whereas Sanjaya is outside, and Dhritarashtra outside, but they're looking at the whole thing. They're reading it, they're hearing it, but they're outside. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. My dear Arjuna, only by, there's that wonderful verse. Oh my God, here's that wonderful verse. 1154. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and thus can be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. Undivided devotional service. Undivided. Focused. Single-pointed. No distractions. No branching off here and branching off there. There's another verse in the Gita about the intelligence of those who are, many-branched. So not that kind of devotional service, off into this and off into that, but focused, undivided. Unauthorized commentaries. They try to speculate. That's the getting branched off as the speculation. Yeah. Krishna explicitly explains in this verse, those who try to understand Bhagavad Gita by the speculative process will know that they are simply wasting their time. No one can understand Krishna or how he came from parents in a four-handed form and at once changed himself into a two-handed form. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah, and Prabhupada talks about the, in perspective, for beginners to follow the rules and regulations, because that's what he's teaching. And he says, for beginners in devotional service to the Lord, temple worship is very essential, and this is confirmed in the Vedic literature. It's a chance to progress. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And here's a basic principle, is that one who has unflinching devotion for the Supreme Lord and is directed by the spiritual master can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead by revelation. Yeah, that's the basic principle. Being directed by the spiritual master, then these things are revealed. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. And as outrageous and outlandish as Srila Gaura Haridas may seem to those who take the path of following the rules and the regulations and the gradual process, as outrageous as he may appear to be, he is actually teaching Krishna consciousness by revelation. And for one who does not take personal training under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, it is impossible to even to begin to understand Krishna. So spiritual masters, they have different ways of prescribing what they're prescribing, but the principle is there. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna. And then Prabhupada further establishes that the original two-armed form, he says, Krishna changes from the universal form, which is kind of like that big voice in the cloud form, like what we find in the Old Testament, a lot of that going on, the voice in the bush, that form, big booming voice, saying do this, do that, and you'll get a kingdom, and offer this sacrifice, offer that that big booming voice. And Krishna changes from that form to the four-handed form of Narayan, and then to his own natural form of two hands, which indicates that the four-handed forms and other forms mentioned in Vedic literature are emanations of the original two-handed Krishna. He is the origin of all emanations. Krishna is distinct even from these forms, not to speak of the impersonal conception. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. All right. Wow, we got through the whole chapter. Then Krishna continues. My dear Arjuna, one who is engaged in my pure devotional service, free from all contaminations of previous activities, and from mental speculation, who is friendly to every living entity, certainly comes to me. I was practicing that this morning after I was having that kind of making that correlation from tuning into the internet and having hundreds of thousands of voices and eyes. I tend to get angry at people, I get angry. And so this morning, I changed the channel. You change the channel. And instead of being angry, I started to pray for people. I was praying for this one. I was praying for that one. And praying for everyone, really. And individuals to get causeless mercy of the Lord. Just pray that they would get that, no matter what kind of distasteful interaction I may have had with them, and who knows how much of it was me and my contaminations, and them and their contaminations. And I just started praying for everyone. And then I thought, who am I to pray for everyone? Am I so lofty that I'm praying for everyone? And I thought, no, I'm praying for everyone because that helps me. Then I don't have to be angry at them and want to kill them. I just pray for them. And then I can kill them. No, I just joking. No, I saw this is the power of forgiveness. The way we can get this forgiving is by praying for people. We can pray for them. Wish them well. Prabhupada always signed all his letters, your ever well wisher. What does that mean? It means he's praying for us. And then I thought, I wonder if anyone's praying for me. And I thought, I think I know a couple people who probably have that mindset. They probably are praying for me. A lot of people, I think, are probably wishing I would just, drop off the face of the earth and meet some horrible fate. But that's their problem. So this praying for people is I think it's a very good practice. Sending good energy, praying for them that they get the mercy of the Lord. And if I can't, be instrumental in that for them directly for one reason or another, then I pray that Krishna makes some arrangement to help people become Krishna conscious, to develop, make advancement in this. Hare Krishna. And then I just feel a lot better about myself thinking about everyone like that. So that's what's been going on. And I wasn't going to go on the internet. I wasn't going to go live. But, for me, this is just too good to not. So what I'm thinking is, it's not like I'm going to go on, regularly, like at a certain time every day and just say whatever it is I'm supposed to say and find something if I don't have anything. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait. And when I actually have something, then I'll go on. When I feel I actually have something, had an experience, or, so I don't know when I'm going to go back on again. Maybe years, maybe lifetimes, I don't know. Hare Krishna. But that was it. So, Haribo, thank you. Oh, glories to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Whew. and the entire disciplic succession, and to that wonderful madman, crazy madman, whose preaching is just extraordinary. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful devotee, Srila Gaura Haridas, and the entourage. Hare Krishna. Haribo.